Wish to you love my heart out. Yeah. He's nice, brush if I used to stop. Yeah. He's nice, gala, so that's He's nice, gala, no more.
What it is, YouTube, CFX here, and in this video I'm going to be going through all of my Forex setups that I had last week. Reason that it's a little late because one of the trades just finished off, or I just closed it, collected my profits from it, and I wanted to make sure that I put all the trades that were I want to make sure that I put all the trades that I were in last week in the same video, just to let you guys know all the trades that I took, how they turned out, things like that. But we have some amazing setups, some amazing setups. We collected a lot of pips, a lot of profits, and both of our accounts, because I do have 2 accounts running for Forex, but we ended up growing both of them, and I'm very proud of the results that we have gotten with the applied knowledge that we have put to use, and it's really been amazing so far. So still got a lot more learning to do, like with indices and gold. Mainly gold. I want to learn more on how to trade that. I've been taking notes on indices a lot, and the people that I've been watching for that is really Q Banks and Doyle Exchange. I've been watching how they trade on indices a lot and how aggressive they are with it and stuff like that. So I've been watching them too a whole lot, and I do also want to show appreciation towards some of the people that I learned from at I Am Academy when I was with their organization. They helped me as well with learning some things on how to trade indices. So definitely want to give a shout out to them, but still got a long way to go, a lot more learning to do. But let's go ahead and get into these setups, and I'm gonna see y'all at the end, man. All right, so first trade setup that we're gonna go over is Euro NZD, which is, I say, my second favorite trade setup. I'm not gonna lie to you, because this one played out wonderfully, man. Like, from the moment I entered into the trade, it went straight into profit, and it never did go out of profit. Literally, like, I think the lowest that it went to was like $1 in profit, and then it just shot back off for real. So right here, you guys can see that I do have my demand marked up all the way across this zone. And then, you know, as a matter of fact, let me make it bigger for you guys. So, because the RSI does not really matter in this instance. So, as you guys can see, I have my demand zone marked up, and this is on the daily time chart. So that's why you see a whole lot of lines marked up. And also, you guys can see how spaced out this is. Like, it's not like it was just back to back. No, this is actually days apart. So this demand zone held up for quite a long time, actually. And I waited on this trade because, as you guys can see right here, it did kind of go through that demand zone a little bit, but it did respect it, because look at this next candlestick right here. Look at this next candlestick. Very bullish momentum in the market from when it entered the demand zone, and that was all of the confirmation that I needed to really hop in this trade, honestly. So once I saw this candlestick, that was when I took this opportunity to hop in this trade, and from point on, when I hopped in, it smashed TP. If you guys follow my Instagram, you guys saw me in this trade. This was a little bit it was a little bit over 3,000 pips in this trade, and that was hit. And honestly, that's why it was one of my favorite trades. I'm just say that is why it was one of my favorite trades. But honestly, that was my just true analysis of this trade. I marked up my demand zone, and I just waited to see if it was going to respect it. Forex and trading period is really more so of a patience game. Like, I didn't think it was going to come back down here, but I marked up my demand just in case, and a couple days later, it ended up coming back down to that point, ended up respecting it, and shot back up. So that is my trade setup for Euro NZD, basically trading off of on the demand zone, which you guys can learn about demand and the supply. Or I can make a video on that if you guys want me to explain it, but that was my setup for that one. So Now on to the next setup, which is my favorite setup of the week so far. All right, so now on to the next setup, USD CAD. Look at this wonderful setup right here. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, it really can't get no better than this. This is a, honestly, what's the term they used to use for it? Textbook textbook technique right here. This is textbook, seriously, because this setup right here played out exactly how people would draw it up. When you watch YouTube videos on chart patterns or candlestick patterns and things like that, this is exactly how it would look. So this setup right here in particular is called the teacup pattern, and the reason why is because you have this large dip right here in the market, and this is the daily time chart as well. So you have this large dip in the market, and then you have the handle right here. So you have the cup and then the handle, and then once it broke through my handle, that was my confirmation that this market was going to buy back up. And then as you guys can see, let me remove the arrow. The arrow I put right there before I even took the trade, because it was like, basically that was my predictions on where the market was going to go. So I put that arrow there beforehand, before I took the trade, and it ended up doing exactly what I thought it was going to do. So let me remove the arrow, and you guys know that it's smash TP, but this was another, let me count. This was another 3,000 pip move right here. So that was another 3,000 pips, and as you guys can see, you got the, like I said, you got the cup, then you got the handle, then it broke through and shot up. So that is called the teacup pattern, like I just said. And also another confirmation for this was it pulled down to the 50 MA and it touched and then bounced right back up as well. And another confirmation, which I told you guys that I just learned, I'm very proud of this one. So let me go to it. So we had a lot of divergence in this setup as well. So obviously you guys can see a lower, you have a lower low right here, and then you have a higher low. So from right here to right here, you have a lower to a higher low. But on our RSI, we have a higher low to a lower low, which is telling me that this market is getting ready to buy back up. So that was my third confirmation for this trade. So we have the teacup chart pattern, we have divergence, and then we have a 50 EMA, which it retraced all the way back to, and then shot up for 3,000 pips. So once the head broke through this zone right here, that was pretty much my confirmation that this market was going to buy back up as well. And I had a little alert that if it crosses back down, then it potentially is going to continue selling back down. But as you guys can see, it never did cross back down. So once it broke through that support zone, once it broke through that support, which had become a resistance, that was the confirmation that I needed that this market was going to buy back up, and it definitely did for 3,000 pips. And like I said before, you're gonna leave money on the table. We left money on the table in Euro NZD, and we left money on the table in USD CAD. But we had a long wick up there, which probably went for like another 1,000 pips, honestly, because that is a very long wick. But that was my trade setup for USD CAD. I'm not going to say every single chart pattern is going to look perfect. They're not always going to be easy to spot, which is one of the flaws in chart patterns. That's why I do not really encourage learning them, because they're so flawed and the market does not always move to them. Like, you can learn the chart pattern, it could be textbook, but the market's still going to move in the opposite direction, or it could move in the opposite direction. So, you know, this time it was just too perfect. It was just too perfect. So you guys can definitely still learn them to get an eye for them and see them in the market, which is what I did here. Once I learned the teacup pattern, it was just an eye. Once I saw this, I was like, this looks familiar. So you guys can definitely learn it, but I just don't make it your bread and butter, basically. That's what I'm saying. So that was my setup for USD CAD. Now on to the next setup, which is Euro USD. So now on to the next chart setup, which is Euro USD. This one right here, same principle as Euro NZD. I waited for my market to come back into my demand zone, and it did, and it reacted how it was supposed to. Only thing is, it just did not go all the way back up to my TP like I had hoped so. But we were seeing a lot of profits, and the mistake that I made, that I did not move my stop loss into profit. So we did end up losing money on this trade. So that is a learning lesson for me and you guys as well. Look, if you're up 2,000 pips, which we were in this trade, and your trade, you know, just take your profits. That's really all I can say, man. Just take your profits, because you do not want to miss out. I'd rather you come out with half of your money than no money at all, or even losing money. So that's really how you want to trade. That was really the only setup for this trade. It came into my demand zone, it respected it, and it shot up for like nearly 2,000 pips. Now I'm looking at with nearly 2,000 pips, and I just did not move my stop loss into profit, which I should have, or even break even at that point, because that was a lot of pips and we was up enough. So move your stop loss into break even or into profit. Let's say you have multiple TPs for a trade. You have TP1, TP2. Once it hits TP1, move it to break even. Once it hits TP2, move it into TP1, and so on and so forth. So therefore you could collect the profits along the way, and you already have your money secured. So that was the mistake that I made on this trade, which is perfectly fine. Hey, look, we're learning from it, so we're definitely going to make money on that next trade. And that was my trade setup for that one. Wait for it to come back into the demand zone, but I may look into taking this trade next week once the market opens back up, because it is coming into my next demand zone, and I'm getting a lot of bullish momentum ever since it wicked out in my other demand zone, and now it's shooting back up a little bit. So we're definitely gonna look into taking that trade next week. I'm gonna see how it reacts once the market opens up, and we'll go from there. All right, so this one is still an ongoing trade, which is USDJPY. But just to start off, it did come into my supply zone, and I'm gonna be honest, I really did miss on the entry that I wanted to take. I missed the entry. So I did enter on the second candlestick right here. Once I, got the full bearish momentum, I entered on the next day candlestick, and we've been going in and out of profit ever since I've taken the trade. But this trade is still set up to go in our direction, and I'm gonna tell you two reasons why. Like I said, for one, it came into my supply zone, and it respected it. It sold back down. Let me see how many pips. It sold back down 1,000 pips so far. So it sold back down 1,000 pips, and also we have divergence. So we have a higher high here and a lower high on our charts. So let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it. I definitely want to make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at. So we have a higher high here and a lower high here, and then we have a lower high on our RSI, and we have a higher high. So we have a lower high going to a higher high on our RSI, but we have a higher high going to a lower high on our actual charts. So that is telling me that this market is getting ready to sell off. Now, one thing about it is, this market could have already potentially sold off the way it was supposed to, and we may have missed that momentum. But we're gonna see once next week's open up. And one thing that I will say are the wicks that we're getting right here is another confirmation for me that this market is going to sell off. So we're getting a very, very, very long wicks at on our candlesticks, and then also it rejected off of our 50 EMA. So we still have potential for this market to sell down even more and hit our TP, which is what I am hoping for. This time I will move my stop loss into profit once I see it, and we're gonna go from there. But so far everything is still looking good for this trade. It's still an ongoing trade, but I just wanted to show you guys the setup. So therefore, when we collect our profits next week, you guys will already know the setup, and I'm gonna just show you guys the result. So that was the setup for USD JPY. Now on to our last setup, which is GBP USD. All right, so GBP USD was the last trade that we took for the week, and our first setup did hit stop loss. So our first setup did hit stop loss. My mistake that I see on this one is that I may have hopped in too early. I'm gonna show you guys why I hopped in on this trade. Well, yeah, I'm gonna start off with telling you guys why I hopped in on this trade. So from right here all the way across, we have a very strong support, right? So we have a very strong support. Actually, let me move my green line up to show you guys. So all right, so about around here, we have a very strong support going across the charts. So where my green line is at right now is a very strong support. You guys see that the market bounced off of it multiple times, and once I saw that it bounced, I took it on this day. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 days ago. So 5 days ago, well, Monday, when the market Monday in the market, that was when I took this trade. And from the moment I took this trade, it honestly has went out of profit. From the moment I took this trade, I don't think it has been in profit, not once, because once I saw that it bounced off this support again, I was like, okay, that is a confirmation for me to hop in this trade. But the next 2 days, it actually ended up breaking through this support, and it ended up hitting my stop loss, and now it has entered my demand zone that I marked up. When I first took this trade, I didn't think it was going to go down there, but now it has entered that zone. And I'm gonna be honest, I have re-entered this trade. May have entered it a little bit too early because I did not wait to see if I was gonna get any bullish momentum, which may be a mistake on my part, but we're gonna see how this trade plays out. So I'm not afraid. I honestly trust in my analysis, because even on this candlestick right here, you guys see that the bears are losing momentum. It's not a very strong bearish candlestick. So when this market opens back up for the next week, I am expecting to see bullish momentum going back up in our direction. So I'm gonna update my TP and my stop loss. I'm gonna set my stop loss right outside of my demand zone, and we still have our a very strong divergence going on, because this low right here is not lower than this low. So that's telling me that this market is still ready to buy. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when it's going to buy back up, and that's what we're waiting on. So I have re-entered back into this trade because I still trust in this setup, and we're going to take it. What I'm thinking is I'm going to move my stop loss a little bit outside of my demand zone, move my TP up to this resistance level, and we're going to go from there, because that right there, that is another 3,000 pip move right there. So hopefully we can collect our profits on that trade, and that'll be a winning trade for us as well. So that was my setup for GBP USD. We hit stop loss on the first setup, but on this second setup, we are going to hit TP. I'm speaking it into the air right now. When you guys see me next Friday for a trade setup and trade results, this is going to be a hit TP. I'm telling you, mark my words. So that's the last trade of the week that we had took. I showed you guys the other two trades with Bitcoin and UK 100 that we took. I am going to get more into indices next week. You guys will see a lot more trades with those. I'm looking to go daily trades, honestly, with the indices. So we do a lot of studying. I already been doing a lot of studying, have a lot of notes written down for taking indices trades and like US 30 and stuff like that. I will have to do a different broker though. I'm gonna have to take my indices trades, well, US 30 on my He Goes Away account, because Hanko does not have US 30 on their platform. So I will have to switch back and forth between those two with certain indices. But we're definitely gonna have a profitable week next week. like you guys just heard, I am switching binary brokers. You guys are going to see which binary broker I'm switching to. It's a broker that I have used before, and I definitely trust them. Haven't heard anything bad about them, so I'm gonna be going back to that trading platform, and hopefully we don't run across no problems with them. But I can't wait to get back to it. I can't wait to see you guys next week, and let's definitely get back to this bag, man. I'm out. All right, so now we are back with the final setup or finished product of GBP USD, which I told you guys I was going to re-enter into last week, and I told you that we were going to get profits and we were going to make that money back. Guess what? We made double of what we lost when that last trade hit stop loss, and as you guys can see, it came into our demand area. It reacted exactly like how we expected it to, and now it went up, and I did close out in profits right up here at the top, because it started consolidating. I didn't like that movement, so I ended up closing out of that trade with profits. But we entered right here at 36,258, and we ended up closing out profits around the same area. So I'd say that was about 1,000 pip move. Ended up having 1,000 pip gain on that with a 0.05 lot size on 2 entries. So yeah, made some pretty good money on that. But that was the setup for GBP USD and the outcome for it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on those bell notices, and share this video with other people who are trying to learn how to trade or who are trying to get into trading. Share it with your friends, your family, hey, whoever. But let's continue to grow, and I'm gonna see y'all in this video, man. I'm out.